So the topic of today's video is regarding how your deeper self speaks to you via the language of desire. And this is a really interesting one because if you can understand this or grasp this, it completely transforms the way you view your desires. And if you are experiencing very, very deep driving desires towards specific things or specific outcomes, then if you start to see that this is your deeper self communicating with you, pushing you towards these things, it completely transforms how you start to view those desires as they come to you. You no longer view them as annoyances or inconveniences. You view them as something deeply sacred and deeply meaningful that you are experiencing. And this is a really, really important point that I wish to raise here. And I'm going to be sharing with you a couple of quotes here, one from Neville and one from the Bible. And these offer a great summary of this message. So the first one here is from Romans 8:26, and it says here, "In the same way, the Spirit helps us in our weakness. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit Himself intercedes for us through wordless groans." Now this is communicating this message again. This is what this is saying here. When we get desires or we get these leadings towards certain outcomes or certain things, we don't often hear a voice telling us about these things. We don't always see a particular message telling us these things. We have this kind of intuitive, shall we say, sense of something deeply communicating with us that is driving us towards a certain outcome or thing or object, etc. And this is very beautifully communicated here in this passage when it says wordless groans. So the Spirit speaks to us through wordless groans, or you could say God speaks to us through wordless groans, or you could say your deeper self speaks to you through wordless groans. And this is a really powerful way of putting it. And these wordless groans are our desires. This is desire. This is a communication of how desire actually works. It's something deeply felt within the body. We don't always know why we feel it or where it comes from. We just know it's there. And this concept, I should say, is very similar to the idea of trusting your gut instincts or following your intuition. These are very, very closely tied in with this. So this language of desire manifests itself as a gut instinct, sometimes as an intuitive insight. So this is all very, very much closely linked together here. And this is your deeper intuitive self speaking to you. And it's communicating these desires to you through these wordless groans. Now, I'm just going to finish this video with a quote from Neville. And this is a great one because it perfectly explains the practical context of this idea as well. And it's a very, very good explanation. So I'll just read it to you now. Neville says here, "When you have a desire, the deeper you, who men call God, is speaking. He urges you through the language of desire to accept that which is not that which is to be. Desire is simply his communion with you, telling you that your desire is yours now. Your acceptance of this fact is proved by your complete adjustment to it as though it were true." Well, to give a quick summary of this quote, Neville is urging us again here to become aware of this language of desire that's working within us, and then our ability to then bring these desires into manifestation are based upon our ability to believe. And this is the crucial part of this practical message here, is that once we have accepted our desire as true, it will become a reality. And this ties in perfectly with the idea of believing our desire can become a reality. That is the process of accepting it as true. Anyway, I hope this was helpful to you today. Thanks very much for listening. Bye for now.